Now, if this blows your mind, that's okay. Let's understand the underlying technology that makes this all possible. Let's take a look at blockchains and how they work behind the scenes. A blockchain is basically just a chain of blocks. It's in the name. But what is a block? Well, a block is basically a container for data. It's like a file on your computer that contains a lot data. What does it contain? Each block on every blockchain contains three things. It contains some data, it contains a hash, and it contains the hash of the previous block. Now let's understand each three of these data points. A cryptocurrency blocks contain transaction data. Let's assume if a transaction is sending $100 or 100 Bitcoin to someone, that gets stored in block. Anything can be stored in the blockchain. Doesn't have to be transactions. We can use blockchains for other things. We can store important documents, contracts, patents, or any documents that need to be time-stamped. The second thing that each block contains is a hash, and this is a very technical term. But a hash is basically like a unique fingerprint of that block. And you get it by taking all of the data in the block and you run it through a hash function. Then the output which we see in block. It's a randomly appearing string of letters and numbers, but what is important is that if we change something inside that block, the hash of the block changes completely. So if there's transaction in that block that says that I received 1 Bitcoin and I change it to 2 Bitcoin, then the hash will be completely different even though it's just a small change. Now that third thing that all blocks contain is the hash of the previous block, and this effectively creates the chain of blocks. This hash thing might be a bit confusing. So let's take an example of blockchain where it has three blocks. Block number 1 has a unique hash and it's the first block on the chain. Since it's first block, it will not have the hash of the previous block, right? So we can set it to 0. Now the second block also has a unique fingerprint. Now this time to refer to block number 1 as the block that went before it. So block number 2 will have the hash of the block that went before it, and that checks out previous hash. Same thing for block number 3. It has a unique hash and it points towards block number 2 as the block that went before it. Now, why is this important? That will be seen in the next video.